Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Retro Pop Planet, and welcome to beautiful Georgetown, Washington, D.C. We are actually right next to the university, which is fitting because today I'm going to tell the strange yet really awesome story about how one band's little song became a hit record in the 1970s and is played pretty regularly on yacht rock radio on Sirius XM. I think the first time I ever heard or became aware of the song was from the 1997 hit Hollywood movie Good Will Hunting.
Sky rockets in flight, afternoon delight. Hey, afternoon delight.
Now, even though it's considered a soft rock, yacht rock song with Southern California vibes, it actually was written here by a band based in Georgetown. And Georgetown itself had a very vibrant music scene in the 1960s and 1970s. A lot of folk artists actually had come through here and performed. That's the other thing about Georgetown. Non-stop playing. There were very many popular nightclubs on M Street and all throughout Georgetown where a lot of artists got their start. Bill Danoff and Taffy Nevert were a married local songwriting duo, which had performed together under the band name Fat City since the late 60s. They married in 1972, and Bill had actually graduated from Georgetown University. This song is inspired by a restaurant on M Street, a very popular restaurant, and one particular afternoon. Okay, now I am going to take you down to the famous Cellar Door nightclub, which is now a Starbucks. But a lot of music history happened here, and we can still go inside and see if we can find any of that. The Cellar Door was a 163-seat music club located at 34th and M Street from 1964 through January 7th, 1982. And the list of performers that passed through here is a mile long. But notables include Billy Joel, America in their first appearance in the US, Jackson Browne, Miles Davis, Jim Croce, Stevie Wonder, the Flying Burrito Brothers, Carole King, Bonnie Raitt, Linda Ronstadt, etc., etc. Neil Young's 2013 Live at the Cellar Door album was made up of the 6 shows that he performed here in 1970. As well as being a performer in the band Fat City, Bill Danoff also worked here at the club and came in contact with a number of artists. Bill and Taffy had penned an unfinished song about driving along country roads in Bill's home of New England after a drive to Gaithersburg, Maryland to visit Taffy's family. In December of 1970, their band was opening for John Denver, and during an after-hours impromptu jam session, they introduced Denver to their song. Originally slated to be sold to Johnny Cash, Denver helped to enthusiastically finish it with them, announcing he wanted it for his next album. They performed it at the Cellar Door to a small crowd, and it was an instant hit. The song appeared on the LP Poems, Prayers, and Promises in the spring of 1971. After a long climb up the charts, it was certified gold later that August. They continued to collaborate with Denver over the years, including on another one of his hit songs, I Guess He'd Rather Be in Colorado. Country Roads has become synonymous with West Virginia and is part of the lasting legacy of John Denver. It was also a huge boost to Bill and Taffy's career. According to a retrospective in GQ magazine, Denver took Danoff and Nevert on tour with him, but their own music never really got popular outside of DC, and Danoff worried that they might lose their record contract. He started to imagine a Mamas and the Papas kind of thing with 2 musicians he'd heard around town, Hawaiian-born Margot Chapman and John Carroll, who was only 17, more than a decade younger than the rest. They began performing as the Starland Vocal Band with emphasis on super tight harmonies. In the mid-70s, Denver signed them to his record label Windsong Records. All right, we are making our way to Clyde's of Georgetown on M Street, and their afternoon happy hour menu called Afternoon Delights became the inspiration for the song. Clyde's has been a staple on M Street since it first opened in the early 1960s. And as the story goes, in 1974, when Nevert was in a nearby hospital for a medical procedure, Danoff and Chapman stopped for a bite to eat. According to WTOP, they were at Clyde's, and on the table was a little table tent promoting the happy hour menu that Clyde's called Afternoon Delights, Carol recalled later. I think it included shrimp and brie. Bill looked at Margot and said, Afternoon Delights, I guess that could be anything, which Carol said led to Danoff's lyrics known for their double entendres. Full disclosure, I came here at lunch and not happy hour. One of their specialties is the fried calamari, so I'm gonna order that. And the gazpacho sounded good and tasted amazing. All right, let's see if I'm inspired enough to go write a song. The song came together at a house on Chainbridge Road in Northwest Washington that Taffy and Bill owned. Carol described it as a cottage surrounded by bamboo. All right, as we're walking up to the place, everything I've read about it online says it is a cottage, and boy, is it ever. This is a really awesome little neighborhood. A long time since I've biked here, but I believe this is the Rock Creek Trail, and it actually runs right next to the house. And you can see all the bamboo that's been planted out here, and that's specifically mentioned in a lot of the articles that I've read, the bamboo that surrounds the home. The song debuted on radio stations on May 8th of 1976. It reached number 1 on Billboard on July 10th and stayed on the charts for 20 weeks, an absolutely monster hit. The band was nominated for 4 Grammy Awards in 1977 and won 2, beating out the band Boston for Best New Artist. When the song hit big, Bill and Taffy moved out of this home and rented it to none other than Carol and Chapman, who had become a couple and even had their daughter here. The band hosted a variety show, the Starland Vocal Band show, that ran on CBS for 6 weeks in the summer of 1977. David Letterman was a writer and appeared regularly on the program. Their next albums just couldn't match the peak of their first record, and the band broke up in 1981. Bill and Taffy ended their marriage the same year. Let me take you back to Clyde's because I want to show you a cool bit of memorabilia I discovered after I ate my lunch. I found this photo of the band performing at Clyde's in what is the back atrium. With exception to the decor, this space looks almost exactly the same as it did in the 70s. And I was wondering what the plaque over Bill and Taffy's shoulders read, and here it is up close. And on the other side of this column is this nice little artifact commemorating the restaurant's link to pop culture history. In the back of the bar here, they have a little bit of memorabilia. There is so much new construction going on campus here right now that it's very loud, so I might actually have to do some overdubbing in parts of this section of the video. Even though the band broke up, they continued to perform together on occasion throughout the years. Danoff and his other bandmates did write and perform for and with other artists of the day. Bill came back to Georgetown in 2007 to teach a songwriter's course on campus with fellow music chum Walter Egan. I remember reading about it in the student paper when I was working on my master's here. Most people, when they think of Georgetown, they think of its School of Foreign Service, its School for Public Policy, for Law and Business, but they actually have a pretty vibrant music and arts program. And here's the Davis building right behind us. It's the Performing Arts Center here, but there's a number of different buildings and performance spaces on campus. I didn't know this before doing a bit of research, but here we are in the quad, and Old North here actually has a lot of the music and arts performance spaces, rehearsal spaces, and I'm assuming some of the classrooms and even some of the offices for the professors. So here we are in the quad in front of the famous or infamous Dahlgren Chapel, and I found a photo online with Starland Vocal Band doing a little performance right here, and I'm gonna see if I can maybe line up that shot. Okay guys, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed this little retrospective of a charming little song that is actually considered to be, I guess, the dirtiest song in the top 100 of all time. I don't know how true that is today. There's been a lot of songs since, but it one time held that mantle. And I hope you enjoyed the story of it. I hope you enjoyed my tour of Georgetown. Stay tuned for more videos like this. If you did like it, please give it a like, leave me a comment, and please feel free to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.